Hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Higher Perspectives. Welcome to another episode of Higher Perspectives. I'm super excited to be here today. I love talking about these subjects and taking them to a higher view of our power, a higher view of understanding. And I'm excited that you're here. Let me know if you have any questions. Say hello when you tune in. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you're live, if you're watching this recording, put hashtag replay. Super excited to be here and talk about the economy. Talking about the economy. And what's happening with our money and what's possible and inflation and all of it. And let's remember what's going on in the matrix is a tiny point in time. It's just a tiny point in time is all. And it's just a tiny space in time as well. And inside the matrix, like I talked about mass hypnosis a couple weeks ago, right? Using the economy and what's happening with money and the dollar and the global financial situation is an incredible way to hypnotize the masses into fear. And using the stories, here's what's going, you have all these people going live, talking on the news, and predicting what's going to happen based on patterns and themes. And so we as humans tune in and listen to what's going to happen. And what's actually happening is that we are being hypnotized into what the powers that be want to happen, what serves them. So they're using the manifestation steps on a global scale, on a mass scale, telling you what's going to happen, invoking the fear, telling you how to prepare for having less, right? And this is a program. The economy is a program in the matrix. Lack and limitation is a program in the matrix. Poverty consciousness is a program in the matrix. And how this program is activated in the matrix and you get sucked in, how humanity gets sucked in is through emotion, the emotion of fear, the fear of survival. How does this look in our lives? Fear of survival. What if I lose my job? What if I don't have any money to pay the bills? What if I end up homeless? And then we'll hear all kinds of news about all of the companies reacting and laying people off. And then those people not knowing how to pay their bills, and then their houses foreclosing, and the rent is going up, and now they can't afford rent, right? Like, so we get all of these stories playing out the scary consequences of the economy. And what happens is we actually create it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But what we think is that, oh, their predictions were correct. Their predictions were correct. See, it did happen. But whenever the economy, we know this, whenever the economy drops or there's trouble in the economy, some people get rich. They buy up all kinds of real estate. They make all kinds of investments. So when anything like this happens, there isn't the opportunity to make more money. But all of that is inside the matrix. And we can see that people do get rich in a failing economy. And how you rise above this, right? How you rise above this is you create your own economy. You live as if there is enough, because that is the truth. That is the divine truth. That's not a program. That's a wiring. That is the natural state of the environment. It is your natural state. So how do you do this? is you follow your heart. You tap into your heart, right? What the matrix does is they feed you information, which seems to be logical, and you take this information, which then triggers your emotions, which then triggers behaviors, right? Your emotion of fear, of lack and limitation, fear of the consequences of it, then creates your actions. How do you act? You withhold money, you save, you hoard it. Then everybody around you starts saving and hoarding, which actually creates the circumstances that were predicted, right? Because you behaved in the way they wanted you to behave, which is perfectly okay, right? We live in a free will, free choice experience. And if you choose to follow their predictions, then you absolutely can. You have free will, free choice to have that experience any way you want. What is also available is having a higher perspective and letting go, realizing, okay, none of that is true. That is a created timeline for some people to win. It's a self-serving timeline. And by self-serving, I mean that we're either self-serving or we serve others. But when we serve others, we're serving ourselves. Self-serving means I don't care how this affects other people. That's self-serving. So the powers that be that are creating this matrix timeline, they're very self-serving. Okay, so being serving to self is being service to others is not buying into the story. It's creating your own economy, creating your own experience. Okay, so are you willing to live in joy? Are you willing to do what your heart desires and know that you are always fully taken care of? And when an economy like this occurs, it's actually an opportunity to reclaim your power from that. I talk a lot about reclaiming your power in my videos, and I actually have a process that you can purchase. Tori will put the link below in the comments and in the description if you're watching this on YouTube, Reclaiming Your Power Over Money. And that is calling back your emotions instead of feeling powerless with money, instead of feeling fearful about money. You call your power back from that. And that's what's being called at a very high level. You have a choice to go into the fear and follow along of how to prepare and changing the way you live. Based on what you're being told, based on prices, just like the price of gas going up. It's dropping now, right? But are you going, oh, I have to buckle down because now gas costs more? Or are you going, I always have more than enough, no matter what anything costs. Years ago, I stopped looking at prices at the grocery store, right? It was like, I can't tell you how much milk costs now or how much eggs cost or how much anything costs, because I stopped looking years ago, even as a single mom, going, I know this is what I need. I'm not going to not buy these things, and I'm going to trust that I have all of the resources necessary to provide for myself and my family. And so I stopped looking at prices. And that's what I invite you to do, is stop looking at the evidence that the matrix is giving you about why you need to be a certain way with money. What will come up around that? Oh, is that a smart decision? Am I being responsible or irresponsible? All of that is matrix programming. All of that is matrix programming. So reclaiming your power from the money, from this money story, opens you up it releases the blocks of you being an open conduit for infinite abundance. That's what programming in this matrix does. Is it creates all these blockages, which we desired. We created this matrix so that we could experience ourselves as powerless, and we have made so many ways to feel powerless in this matrix, from religion to money to relationships to politics, all of it, sexuality, all these rules. We created this incredible matrix so that we could feel powerless. And if you're done with feeling powerless and you want to experience an extraordinary life, you want to experience true freedom, then now is the time that you rise above and you say, you know what? I'm not willing to live in that limitation anymore. I'm willing to know myself as the divine being that I truly am. And we are powerful creators, and we get to create the abundance no matter what is going on in the outside economy. That's the reality that the powers that be want to create because it serves them. What reality do you want to create for you and your family? Are you willing to close your eyes and close your ears to what's going on? And I'm not talking spiritually bypassing. I'm talking reclaiming your power from it. So if you see a story on the news about the economy and layoffs, do you go into fear? Does that come up for you? Well, that means you need to call your power back from that story. Call your power back from that story, because as a divine being, we have everything we need to survive and thrive at all moments. We have the ideas, we have the energies, we have everything we need to thrive and survive beyond survival. It's the matrix that keeps us in survival, right? And we're moving up to those higher chakras of love and creation and expression. And it's choosing to do that, but reclaiming your power from those things that scare you, which is why I created the 4 series: reclaim your power from money, from relationships, from time, from reclaiming your sexual power. Our sexual power is our creative power, right? We've been taught in the matrix to feel ashamed of that. There's so many stories inside the matrix, right? And the economy is just one more story that is showing up for us to reclaim our power from that experience. So I hope this has supported you. Please drop in the comments any ideas that you would like, anything that you would like the higher perspective on. We can do a lot of talking around money and the matrix stories around money and how to break free from that to live your extraordinary abundant life in joy, in freedom, harmony, love, all of it. It is our natural state. So I hope this supports. Thanks for tuning in. See if Mark, thanks for coming in. Thank you for joining in, Mark. Thank you, Heather. Love. Money coach there. Love you. Heather, thanks for tuning in. Hashtag replay if you're jumping in on the replay, and post your questions below. All right, everyone. Have an amazing rest of your week. I will see you next time. Bye for now.